Hey guys, it's Ashley with 3R Sales and Service. We're taking a look at a 7x14 trailer today. This is a 3,500 PSI, 8 gallon a minute hot water unit and the 300 PSI, 10 gallon per minute gas engine soft wash system. So up front here we have the Pressure Pro 8012 Pro series with the Honda GX690. It's got the belt driven general pump on there. The few modifications that we make, we always put a bleeder valve on these so that we can get the air out of the incoming water line, and then it also primes the pump at the same time, so it's a much easier startup, better for your pump, better for your system, just easier overall so you don't run into any issues. These systems have the oil drains on both the engine and the pump, so it just makes it a little bit easier for maintenance and oil changes. And then you've got the larger fuel tanks at the bottom too for your gasoline and for your diesel for the burner system. The gas engine soft wash has a Honda GX200. This is a pull start. It's got the AR45 diaphragm pump with the gear reducer to run that. We have that hooked up to our metering system over here, which is the Midwest Hydro Mixer. This will meter your water, your surfactant, and your bleach. And the nice thing about these is there's check valves in all of the lines, so it keeps it from having any backflow into any of your other tanks, so that none of your bleach goes into your water tank and vice versa. And then we have the numbers on the valve itself are actually numbered assuming that you're using 12.5% concentrate of sodium hypochlorite. So whenever you're adjusting this, it's telling you what your outgoing percentage is, so what is actually hitting the surface whenever you've got your water valve all the way open. You're pretty much always going to have that water valve open, and then you're adjusting your surfactant and your bleach based on the surface that you're cleaning. So moving along, behind here we have our 7 gallon surfactant tank, and we've got our 100 gallon bleach tank. Below you can see we have a tank drain here. This is a 2-inch tank drain. The valve is just on the other side, so you can open it easily, and you can drain this large 325 gallon tank quickly if you need to. You can also use it for bucket filling, for hand washing, or any other reason that you need some extra water. Over the side rail, we have filters that go to each one of our systems. So there's a filter that goes to the soft wash system, and then there's T-strainer filter that goes to the pressure washer. We put ball valves in front of all of those just so we can turn off the water supply whenever the system's not running, and you can check your filters easily. If you start to notice that you're getting a little bit of low flow or something like that, first thing is always check those filters. We've got a filter on top of the tank as well. I did forget. So on the back side of this is the remote rinse system for the soft wash. Abby reminded me that I completely went past it. So the remote rinse, actually this little light here is typically connected to the remote rinse panel. Whenever we mount it on the back of the proportioner panel, we take this light and move it so that you can see the light whenever it's on. You're pulling soap whenever it's off, you're not. And then the whole control system is just back here, so it's easy to reach and service if you need to. Beside it is a manifold for the pressure washer downstream soap injection. So you can pull soap from your tanks through this manifold through the pressure washer, or you can pull soap from these tanks through this manifold for your soft wash system. So you're using all your tanks for both systems. So keeps you from having to have any special mixes or special batches for one or the other. With the way that the manifold works is you can open up your valve if you want to pull bleach, and then you can just crack it a little bit if you want to pull some surfactant and mix it all together. And then this one here, you can close off both of these. And if you have like a specialty detergent or something that you want to use, you have a degreaser or a different type of truck wash, something totally different for that's not, maybe related to house washing. We have a dip tube line, and everything's kind of zip tied right now, but you just reach down here and you can grab this dip tube line and drop it down into some random 5 gallon bucket of mix or other detergent that you want to use, and then open up this valve and you can draw it through your downstream soap injector. So you don't have to empty any of your tanks, you don't have to pull any hoses, you just have a totally separate line to do that. All right, I'll move on down here. I was going to start talking about the additional T-strainer that we have on top of the tank. This one is from your garden hose feed. It actually filters the water before it goes down into your tank, so it prevents any sediment from gathering inside your tank. so you don't run into any issues. That one can also, if you start to notice that your tank is starting to fill up a little bit slow, just double check that, make sure that it's not completely clogged up or anything, and keep going on there. On the underside of it, there's a flow valve. Once your tank gets all the way full, it'll shut off your water supply, and then as soon as your tank starts to deplete again, when you're using one of your systems, then it'll start to fill your tank automatically. So nice little way to make sure you're not overflowing your tank on the job site or having to monitor it the whole time. We have our Titan hose reels. These are the 18-inch aluminum framed reels. The top two have the stainless steel manifolds for, just to protect against corrosion from bleach. And at the bottom, we've got the large 1-inch manifold so that we can fill this tank as quickly as possible. Sometimes we get to those 1/2-inch manifolds. It restricts the water flow a little bit too much. It takes a long time to fill these larger tanks. So that being said, our soft wash reel has 300 feet of 1/2-inch hose. Our pressure washer reel has 200 feet of 3/8 hose. It'll hold up to 450 feet. And then on the bottom, we have 100 foot of the 3/4 inch Flexzilla hose, and it will hold up to 200 feet if you want to add another 100-foot section to it. We have our locking connectors that we add on these just to keep everything nice and tidy. You don't have to worry about your hoses coming loose while you're driving down the road. The hose reels do have pin locks, so it keeps your discs in place. It's not going to roll or anything, but it just keeps those hoses nice and tidy. On the swivel side, for the pressure washer reel, we have our soap injector installed. Your soap injector will actually control your dilution ratio. This is an adjustable one. You can have the soap completely turned off if you want to use low pressure nozzles and not pull any soap. You can turn it off, or you can open it all the way up, all the way to a 20% draw. And then anywhere in between just kind of gives you that 10% or 5%, whatever you need for whatever you're drawing. Around back, we have our 2 surface cleaners. We kind of take advantage of the gate to hold those in place, so they're really easy to take on and off if you need to. We have a 24-inch surface cleaner and a 20-inch surface cleaner. The customer wanted to have 2 different options because in their areas, they have a lot of large driveways, but then they also have a lot of narrow sidewalks. So they wanted to be able to use both systems if they need to, and then have one as a backup if they run into a service issue with one or the other. We have our ladder rack on the driver's side. On the tank, you can see the other hose we have on top here. This is our cool bypass line for the pressure washer. On the pressure washer, if you're using it and then you let off the trigger as the engine's idling, it's actually bypassing water. And typically that just bypasses right at the pump head, and we extend that line back to the water tank so that you've got pretty much an infinite amount of time in bypass mode as long as you've got cool water running through that tank. So you don't have to go back and cycle the trigger every 2 minutes or something like that to keep your pump from overheating. It just cycles nice cool water, so you don't have to worry about it. You can see the other T-strainer at the bottom of this tank that's feeding the pressure washer, and then we're back up to the pressure washer on the driver's side of the trailer. So like I said, this is a 14-foot trailer. It's tandem axle. Does have a 2 3,500-pound axles, so a 7,000-pound GVW. So this one's pretty close to maxed out with the amount that's on here if we had a full tank, and especially like with our full chemical tanks and everything. So next step up from here would be going to like a 10,000-pound trailer, which we've done before if people want to have the 525-gallon option. So if you have any questions on this, it'll be on our website. It's 3rpressurewashers.com. We'll have pricing, all the information if I missed anything else on here, or you can give us a call if you have any other questions or any modifications. You like this package or you want to do something a little bit different, and we can help you out with that. Thanks.